Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, welcome back to another session of program Learn and Speak Arabic like the natives in 6 months. And we continue with lesson 8, module 9 of this program. If you're just joining, ensure to subscribe and click on the bell button to receive notification of our new post, and of course share to others. This is a program established for new learners of Arabic who intends to learn Arabic in a very short period of time, and this program is available for you to learn it in 6 months. All right, catch a paper and pen and let's move on. We've been talking about al-ma'rifah. What are the definite nouns in Arabic? We said they have 6 categories. We've talked about 4 or 5 of them, and this is the 5th one. We've talked about 4, and this is the 5th of the 5 types of al-ma'rifah that we have in Arabic. So we're going to be talking about al-Idafiyah. Al-Idafiyah. What is al-Idafiyah? Basically, al-Idafiyah means to show it's an act of addition, adding one thing to the other. So in a basic terminology, we say it's showing a relationship or connection between 2 nouns. So this connection, we're going to be looking at that in 2 broad ways. We're going to be looking at connection between 2 nouns, and of course connection between a noun and a pronoun. For the connection between 2 nouns, we'll look at a connection between a noun and of course a ma'rifah noun. A noun plus a ma'rifah noun. And we'll look at a connection between a noun and another nakra noun. These are 2 things. We have a ma'rifah noun and we have a nakra noun. So we look at when a noun is added to a ma'rifah noun and when another noun is added to a nakra noun. So we're going to be looking at all of this, inshallah. Alright, now let's look at the full definition of al-Idafiyah. It is the art of showing a relationship, bond, or connection between 2 nouns or a noun and a pronoun. So this is what is called al-Idafiyah. Now, in a more explainable way, let's look at the following expressions. So basically, al-Idafiyah helps you to show relationship between, it helps you to show a possessive relationship, an expression of possession. Alright, now let's look at, to shed more light to this, let's look at the following examples. In English, we could form expressions like Halima's bag, color of the house, the fragrance of Jannah, the teacher's car, his phone, their books, okay, his pencil, and so on and so forth. So all of this expression is showing some sort of possession, one way or the other. Now, how do we express all of this in Arabic as well? This is where your Idafiyah comes in. Alright, so since we're going to be learning connection between a noun and a ma'rifah now, so we'll look at all of these kind of expressions, how we can put them together in Arabic. Now, let's look at connection between 2 nouns. So we want to look at a connection between a noun and a ma'rifah noun. So the first thing we're going to be looking at, we want to say the man's house. Okay, the man's house. After learning all of this, you can try to translate any of these expressions right here from 1 to 5. However, we'll cover some of them in our new examples here. So we want to look at a noun and a ma'rifah now. So we want to say the man's house. The man's house is equal to saying the house of the man. Same thing. So the man's house. In English, the man comes first. The man's house. However, in Arabic, the object that you want to add to another noun, or the object that is possessed, is coming first, while the possessor will come second. And the flip side is applied in English, where the one who is owning something, the possessor comes first, while the possessed object comes second. In the case of the man's house, the man is the owner of the house, while the house is the object that is owned. So the man comes first in English expression, while the house comes second. Alright, so let's see what we have here in Arabic form. So house is bait, okay, and the man is ar-rajul. So we have to bring house first and the rajul second. So we say baytur rajuli, baytur rajuli, as we see in this example, baytur rajuli. Bayt is the object that we own, so we want to add it, we want to connect it to the man who is the owner, from this implication. So we say baytur rajuli, the house of the man, or the man's house. If we intend to put it in another way using half, the house comes first. So the house of the man. However, where we intend to use apostrophe, we say the man's house. Now let's look at the second example here. We want to see motor park. Okay, we just simply say موقف السيارة. The motor park. Okay, motor park, the park of the car, or a park where motors are, parked, or a place where motors are parked. All right. So this is what we have. So motor park, we have موقف السيارة. موقف is connected, is added to سيارة to show that a place where cars are parked. موقف ordinarily means a point of standing, a position, a stance, in different manners in that way. So we want to say a place where cars are parked. So we say موقف السيارة. All right. Taking note that the second part are always معرفة in this case. They're معرفة. They're definite nouns. موقف السيارة, موقف السيارة, موقف plus السيارة. So we have موقف السيارة. Number 3, we want to look at how to say the daughter, the teacher's daughter, the daughter of the teacher, or the teacher's daughter. So we say bintul muallimi. Bintu is the daughter of the teacher. So we have bintu coming first and the muallim coming second. So we say bintul muallimi. Bintul muallimi, the daughter of the teacher. So for you to understand better, you can start off by showing and having the expression of a possession that is expressed or portrayed using of. So in that case, the daughter will come first, just as it will in Arabic. The daughter of the teacher. So the daughter of the teacher, bintul muallim. So these are lines where the daughter comes first and the muallim comes second. The teacher comes second, in the same way as we have it in English using of, the of expression. The daughter of the teacher, bintul muallimi, in that manner. All right, if that is understood, now let's look at number 4 expression. Kitabu hadha. Kitabu hadha, the book of this. Okay, this in quote. Okay, is something we're referring to. So maybe this boy, the student. Okay, so we are pointing at something, and then we say the book of this, or the book of this. Okay, so we're going to be talking. There's something we have to talk about later in the subsequent part of the lesson. Okay, now let's look at the number 5 expression. Now we want to say the Halima's bag. which is similar to what we have, or the same thing as what we have over there. حقيبة وليمة حليمة. Bag is حقيبة. حقيبة is bag, okay? And we are relating it to Halima. So we say حقيبة حليمة. حقيبة حليمة. حقيبة حليمة. The bag of Halima. Halima's bag. Number 6. We want to say the color of the house. The color of the house. So we say color is لون. لون. And the house is bait. البيت. So we say لون البيت. لون البيت. لون البيت. The color of the house. So using half expression, we have color coming first, just the same way it comes first in the Arabic expression. Let's look at number 7. ولد عائشة. Aisha's son, or the son of Aisha. Aisha's son, the son of Aisha. Okay, so we have some expressions, some explanations to say about this. And that's why we make it big and bold. Okay, so we look at that in the subsequent part of the lesson. Number 8 as well. Bintu Zainab. Bintu Zainab. The daughter of Zainab, or Zainab's daughter. Alright, so this is what we have. And how to form expression of possession using Al-Jibla. So the expressions above, they show a connection between a noun and a ma'rifah. So this means that the second part of the expression, Aisha, Zainab, Hava, Halimata, and so on and so forth, all of these parts are rajul, they are ma'rifah. And so we added another noun to them. So before we move further, I'd like you to try your understanding on this quick exercise on this topic by trying to do these exercises that we have here. Translate the following: the student's shoe, the man's book, the slipper of the girl. And so we have slipper to mean shib. Sometimes you can say na'lun. Okay, so try your best in the comment section to do this translation. Okay, so let's move on. I believe you're doing that right now, or you must have done it. Now let's move on, okay? So we have some language tip, grammar tip here. Okay, we can say grammar tip, or let's say like grammar tip or language tip. So I'm gonna prefer to be grammar tip. Grammar tips. Okay, now let's look at some tips right here. So just like we've said, the expression above shows a connection between a noun and a ma'rifah noun. Alright. And so by implication, the statement above Baytul Rajuli shows that Bayt is the first word we have here and is connected to a Rajul, which is a ma'rifah. So in this case, this connection by proxy, Baytu is also a ma'rifah because it is connected to a rajul, which is a ma'rifah, which is a definite noun. Is that taken? So when we say waladu Zainaba, Zainaba in that case is a ma'rifah, is a proper noun, al-alam, and it is a definite noun in Arabic. So walad that is added to it has also become a ma'rifah. From what we've talked about, we said when you add alif lam to your word, it makes it become to a noun, makes it become a ma'rifah. So waladun, a boy, but tanween, when you add al to it, becomes al walad, which makes it becomes a ma'rifah, definite noun. But this is not the only thing we can add to a word to make it a ma'rifah. By also adding walad to a ma'rifah now automatically makes it become a ma'rifah. Zainab is a ma'rifah in this case by being a proper noun. So you add walad to it. So walad has also become a ma'rifah in that manner. Waladu Zainab. Kitabun, let's take that for example. Kitabun, a book. So we understand that if you add alif and lam to kitabun, you say el kitabu, which makes it become a marifa. However, if we have to add kitab to a marifa now, separate marifa now, that will also make kitab a marifa. So we say kitabu talibi. Kitabu talibi. Kitab is added to a talib. In that case, kitab is also a marifa. Kitabu talibi, the student's book, or the book of the student. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. Now, I used to give an analogy. I used to say, if you make friends, if you had yourself to reach carcass, reach friends, reach set of people, if they are good people, you also become rich because you had yourself to them. So you could also be regarded as a rich person. Why? Because you had yourself to a rich set of people. If you had yourself to knowledgeable set of people, the scholars, you become a scholar to become knowledgeable too, because you work with them. You had yourself to their group, to their caucus, and then you move with them. So you are related. You are addressed according to the set of people that you move with. Taken. So that's an analogy, a physical and clear analogy to this expression. Okay, let's quickly have a quick quiz. What do you think of this scenario? When a noun is added to a nakra noun, does that noun become a nakra too? So that's a brainstorming question. Put your answer in the comment section. So we already said when a noun is added to a marifa noun, that noun becomes a marifa. But does that mean that when you add a noun to a nakra noun, does it make it become a nakra too? So I would like to see your view to that in the comment section. All right, so let's move on from here. We are trying to understand right now, and it is actually a fact that in any given expression of an idafa, the first part. Now let's look at, we mentioned that when we have an idafa expression, your idafa expression contains two parts. It contains the first part that is added to another part, and it contains a second part which receives the other. So if we say kitab al-talibi, kitab is the first part of the expression that is added, while al-talib is the second part of the expression that receives the other person, the other word. All right, so in any given expression, in the light of this, the first part of the two connected words is called mudaf. Take note of this terminology. Let's have it. Take note of this terminology, mudaf. Okay, so the first part that is added to another word is called mudaf, while the second part is called mudaf ilayh. Mudaf ilayh. Please take that note. Take note of that, in your notebook. Mudaf ilayh. So let's take a look at the above examples. Some of them, anyways. In the example, baytul rajuli, Bait is the first part that is added, so we say it is mudaf. Bait is mudaf. Okay, bait is actually mudaf, and of course, in that sense, ar-rajul is going to be mudaf ilayh. It's like someone is coming to visit you. You are the host, and the person who is coming to visit you is your guest. You are the receiver. You're receiving them. So you are the mudaf. Your visitors that are coming to you, or the new person you are taking as your friend, is your mudaf. Okay, and look at it also in another sense. When you are adopting a child, the child you are adopting is mudaf because is the one that is being added to your family. You are adding them to your family, and you are the one that is adding them. So you are the mudaf ilayh. You are receiving a new person to your family. So you are mudaf ilayh, and the new person coming to you is actually the mudaf. And one way or the other, if you're adopting, you are becoming a new owner. I think that is understood in this case. So if it's understood, you don't have any problem forming an idafa expression, showing possession. It's quite easy. Now, if this is understood, let's look at the features of mudaf and mudaf ilayh. They must have some features to identify them. Okay, let's take mudaf for the first. Firstly, we're going to talk about mudaf, the features of mudaf. Mudaf, the first thing is it should not have alif and lam attached to it. And that's why when we have كتاب الطالب كتاب الطالب, so kitab is mudaf, so it's not having any alif and lam because we're hiding it. And the second thing, it should not have tanween. And take a look, kitabu, it does not have tanween, not kitabun, no, kitabu, you had it to a talib. So the first thing is it does not have alif and lam and doesn't have tanween, as opposed when it is standing alone. When it is acting as a nakra, you say kitabun, and when it is standing alone also and it's acting as a ma'rifah, you had alif and lam to it and you take away the tanween, becomes al kitabu, kitabun al kitabu. But in this case, it is neither having alif and lam nor is it having tanween. Now that is understood. Now let's look at number 3 point. If mudaf is connected to a mudaf ilayhi, which is a ma'rifah, it becomes a ma'rifah too. So kitab is connected to another word, which is a ma'rifah, means a definite noun, it becomes a definite noun as well. So we have baytul mal, the house of money. Baytul mal, bayt, it has no alif and lam, it has no tanween, it is added to al-mal, and al-mal is ma'rifah. Okay, we believe that's understood. Now let's look at the mudaf ilayh. The one who is receiving, the receiver. So what is the feature? The feature is mudaf ilayh can be either a ma'rifah or a nakra. That's one thing. The receiver can be either a rich person or a poor person. The receiver of a new member to themselves may be a popular person and may not be a popular person. May be a respected person and may not be a respected person. This is the case here. So the receiver, which is mudaf ilayhi, could be a ma'rifah and it could not be a ma'rifah. Okay, that's taken. Number 2, mudaf ilayhi must always take kasra at the end if it is a singular noun or a broken plural. So there's another thing to identify your mudaf ilayhi. If it is a singular noun, it must be in a jar case. Generally, it must be in a genitive case. Genitive case, right? Genitive case or jar case. It must be in a jar case. Okay? Alright, so for a singular noun, the jar case is kasra or a broken plural. So to put that a singular noun or a broken plural in a jar case or genitive case, you give it a kasra. That's very important. Now let's look at this example. So for this, the one we have qalamu zaydin. Qalam is the guest coming to Zayd, and Zayd is the receiver. So Zayd has a kasra. Zaydin. Zayd's pen. Qalamu zaydin means Zayd's pen. So Zaydin is having a kasra because he's adding another thing to himself. So that must tell on him. So Imamul Masajidi. Imamul Masajidi. Masajid, al-Masajid here is a broken plural. So it has a kasra because it's adding Imam to itself. Now let's look at the grammatic, just like I've said earlier. The proper noun, which is al-alam, it remains a ma'rifah, whether they take tanween at the end or not. Take note of that. We'll talk about that. When you're referring to a ma'rifah now, whether it takes a kasra or not, it's still a ma'rifah now. Alright, whether it takes tanween or not. That's what I meant to say. Whether tanween or not. Unusually, you find that Ism al-Alim are taking tanween, but that does not make them inaccurate. They're still the ma'rif. Number two, masajid is a broken plural of masjid. Revised broken plurals in the third or fourth lesson. Just go back to the previous lessons to see them. Now, we look at exceptions. There's some exceptions, and that's why the exception go back to the expressions that we bolden. Expression 4, 7, and 8 in the above examples are what we are going to talk about. So when we say kitabu hadha, hadha is a ma'rifah, of course. However, it does not show any sign of kasra. It doesn't have a kasra. However, it is in the genitive case, but it does not have a kasra. It doesn't show it. Why? This is because it is mabni. It's mabni ala sukun. It's invariable. And now it's invariable now. It's built permanently on a particular image. It is built permanently on a sukun. That is on the alif there. The last alif there, alif mad, it has a sukun, but it's not read. So it's built on that. It's mabni, it's invariable now. So it remains unchanged. So this is applicable to all ismul ishara except the ones that are dual. Hadani, hatani, dhanika, tanika. Revised previous lessons also, that's lesson 8 for the dual pronouns, the dual form of the ishara, ismul ishara. So this set of dual pronouns will change. Okay, now let's look at 7 and 8. Walad Aishata bint Zainab. So it is observed that Aisha, instead of taking a kasra, takes a fatha. So we don't say waladu Aishati, no waladu Zainabi. No, we say waladu Aishata bint Zainab. Why? This is just a trait. They don't take kasra. This is just a trait of all feminine proper nouns. All feminine proper nouns that are 4-letter words. Okay, they will be having a fatha instead of kasra. They will not take kasra. And let's take note of something else. We say they are feminine nouns, but they do not show any sign. They don't have to show any sign because they are meaning from the meaning. And of course, they are also names of feminine people. Feminine, so they don't have to show any sign. These set of feminine nouns, we do not show any sign, but by meaning implies a feminine, referring to feminine, but by physical outlook, by structure. Okay, they are not looking feminine. Of course, if you look at their meaning, or what they're referring to is a feminine. So we call this set of now physical feminine nouns. Okay, that is feminine by structure. So physical feminine, all right, that is feminine by structure. So we call this set of feminine mu'annath مؤنث أو مذكر ظاهري. أو يسمى مؤنث المعنوي. مؤنث المعنوي. المؤنث المعنوي. They are feminine by meaning actually, but by physically they are not feminine. So we have physically feminine nouns, meaning nouns that are physically feminine, and we have literally feminine nouns, that is feminine by structure. So we have مؤنث الظاهر مؤنث اللفظي. Now, المؤنث اللفظي, those are the physical feminine by their structure, by the pronunciation. They are feminine. And that does not mean they will be they will be feminine by meaning. So, and we have another set of nouns, just like Aisha, just like Zainab here. Zainab here is مؤنث المعنوي. مؤنث المعنوي and not مؤنث لفظي. So it is مذكر لفظي. By structure, it's looking like a masculine now because it does not have an indication. However, by the meaning, it is literally feminine. It is feminine by meaning or feminine by implication. So, feminine by meaning, that's it. They have the meaning of a feminine, but by physical look, They are not. By structure, they are not feminine. Now, if this is understood, so let's look at more explanation. Let's have more explanation of this. So just like we said, there are some nouns that will show no indication of physical femininity. No. All right. And some nouns we show that, but they will show by their structure that they are feminine, but by indication or by meaning, they are masculine now. So these are what we call muhannath lafzi, mudhakkar lafzi, muhannath ma'nawi, mudhakkar ma'nawi. So mudhakkar ma'nawi is a masculine noun. It's a noun that is actually referring to masculine by meaning. All right, but by the structure, it is the opposite. And the same thing applies to mudhakkar lafzi. Mudhakkar lafzi shows that this word is a masculine by the pronunciation, by the structure, but not necessarily it may not necessarily be a masculine word. It may be a feminine word. We'll look at that. Okay, so for example, look at Maryam, Zainab, Suad. These names, by their physical look, by their structure, they do not have ta marbuta, neither do they have alif mamduda, nor do they have any of the major signs of feminine that we talk about in the previous lessons. So they don't have that. So to understand these better, revise the lessons on signs of feminine gender. Alright, so if this is understood, all of these names, Zainab, Maryam, Swad, they do not carry any sign of to indicate that they are feminine. So they are masculine by structure. So we call them mudhakkar lafzi. However, they are mu'annath ma'nawi. They are feminine by meaning, or by implication. So, but the implication or the meaning overpowers the structure. So we don't say they are masculine, but they are feminine. Why? Because they imply feminine nouns. By meaning they are feminine, by implication they are feminine. So we don't look at the structure no more. We cancel out the structure and we give power to the meaning or the implication. Now let's look at, for the masculine part of it, Hamza, Talha, Zakaria. These names, they carry the major signs of feminine. So by structure they are feminine, but by implication they are masculine. Hamza is implying a name of a man. Talha is the name of a man. Zakaria is the name of a man, even though they carry the feminine signs. So these are muhannath lafzi. They are feminine by structure or by their syntax, but by semantics, that is by meaning, they are, or by implication, they are masculine words. So we give power to the semantics than the syntax. We give power to the meaning on the implication than the syntax or the structure. So they are looking feminine truly, but we don't say they are feminine for that reason. We say they are masculine. So you treat them as masculine throughout. Even when you are using your adjective, when you are using your verb, use all masculine verbs, masculine adjective throughout, because by meaning they are masculine. Okay. Now, all proper nouns, all of these proper nouns, okay, they don't take tanween and they don't take kasra. They will take fatha in place of kasra. So we say they are ism la yansarf, mamnu' min as-sarf, nouns that do not change. So the only exception is when you have feminine nouns that are, 3-letter words, da'dun, hindun, and so on and so forth. But other than this, 4-letter words, noun, proper nouns that are feminine, okay, they don't take tanween at all. So Hamza is Hamzatu, Talhatu, Zakariya'u. Okay, so that's what we have there. Aisha to Fatima to, name it. All these names do not take Su'at, Maryam, Zainab. They don't take Zainabun, Maryamun. No, Maryamu, Zainabu, Su'at. We have other forms of nouns that in these categories. We have some nouns that have the form of verb. Ahmad, Yahya. All of these don't take. Okay, they don't take tanween. And other than that, okay, we have some foreign names too, which will not take all sort of things like this. Alright, so that's what we have there as mamnu min as-sarf. Okay, now let's take these examples. Okay, and then we call the lesson. We will close the curtain of the lesson for this session. So we have to translate the following: Aisha's bag. Okay, bag is Haqiba. Zainab's phone. Okay, you can say phone hatif or Jawal. Fatima's cupboard. You look for cupboard. Okay, the principal's bicycle. Mudir. The shoe of that. The shoe of that. Okay, the man's belt. Latifa's purse. Purse is mihfala. Mihfalatun. The school bus. Hafila is bus. Okay. The exercise book of the student. The woman's shoe. Please try to lay hands on these exercises and ensure to submit the answers to the comment section. Ensure to share the lesson to other people so they can learn from it. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.